Okay, new day, new angle. I'm hoping that I'm actually in frame now for once. My last two videos, I was either too close or too far, or like my head was cut off and stuff. But I hope that I actually fixed it now. Yes. So today, as you can see by the title, I want to speak about the power of fasting. Now, for me personally, throughout my entire relationship with God, I never really saw the point in fasting. Like, I understand, or you sacrifice your need for, or your want for, for satisfaction in terms of the food that you put into your body or the things that you drink and all that sort of stuff. I know that it's meant to lessen gluttony or something like that, but I never really truly understood the principles of fasting and why it's so important. And that's what I want to try and unpack in this video. I'm hoping that I won't go for too long, but I just want to start us off with a verse from actually Matthew 6 verse 16 to 18, which reads, "And when you fast, do not look gloomy like the hypocrites, for they disfigure their faces, that their fasting may be seen by others. Truly I say to you, they have received their reward. But when you fast, anoint your head and wash your face, that your fasting may not be seen by others, but by your Father who is in secret. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you." Now, my very first fast was 2022 around September time. Now, I didn't fast properly. I didn't really know what fasting properly was about. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna try and do this thing for about a week or so, maybe even 5 days. I can't really remember how long it was, but it was not that long. I assure you it wasn't that long. So the first thing that I did was I researched, like, okay, fasting, how does it work? What do I do when I'm fasting? How do I break my fast? Because I did have a couple of Muslim friends, and the way that they break their fast is like they take a date or whatever, and then they fast for like really long hours. And I know for me, I was in school at that time. Well, I am still in school, but that was first year uni for me, so I was very still trying to get used to things. But this was around the end of first year, so I was sort of getting into the hang of things, but I wasn't perfect. So I didn't want a fast that was going to like kill me, I know it would never have killed me even if I went the full extent. But what I did specifically was from until I woke up, so it was about 6, 7, 8 a.m. depending on the day, until about 12 o'clock. So about, that's like however many hours that is. It's not even a lot. It's maybe like, it's literally like 4 hours if I wake up at 8. So you can see, not a very crazy fast, but I just want to speak about the impact of that fast and how that actually grew me closer to God. And I only really realized that afterwards. During the fast, obviously, it was very hard. The first day, like if you're someone who knows me personally, I eat too much. Actually, if I actually really think about it, I maybe I eat too much, which is probably a reason why my skin at that point was at the lowest point. First year in the matric, it was very bad because my eating habits were very bad. I just wanted to eat anything and everything. As a child, I was completely addicted to sweets and sweet treats and things like those, particularly the Maynards, those Maynards fruit chews. There was one time my mom actually caught me with like a whole bunch of just wrapping papers in my blazer pocket, and a week afterwards I was complaining about a toothache. So yeah, just trying to draw the picture. I was very addicted to sweets, very addicted to food in general, especially fast food. I love fast food. So I know this fast, doing it in this time of day, wasn't really a massive sacrifice in terms of the things that I normally eat, because I usually eat those things after 12. lunch, dinner, dessert, that kind of thing. But yes, breakfast I was sacrificing. So I started this fast. Oh, and okay, I'll get to that. So I started this fast, I think it was Sunday, and I was planning to do it the whole week. That was the plan. So I started on Sunday, and first few days, I got really bad headaches. On my way to school, usually class starts at around 8 a.m. And I wouldn't even eat that early in the morning anyway. When I would wake up, like I can't really eat that early in the morning. So what I would do was just drink some water, get up, go to class. And it was always on my way to class, I would start getting these headaches. And I don't know if it's something that happens to everyone when they don't eat breakfast, but I wasn't a big avid eater of breakfast. But as soon as I started fasting, for some reason, I started getting headaches in the morning. And I never really ate in the morning anyways. Maybe sometimes I'd have an apple or something, but sometimes when I wouldn't eat and I'd just drink water, I wouldn't get the headaches. But now that I'm fasting, I'm getting headaches. Coincidence? I don't know. I don't think so. So the main thing that happened during those first few days is the headaches. And I honestly thought that, okay, it's going to start out hard, but then maybe it's going to get a bit easier. I don't know. But it didn't get easier. It actually got a whole lot harder because it was obviously my first time fasting. But during this fast as well, I never really prayed all that much. I didn't pray when I started fasting. I didn't pray when I broke my fast, and I didn't break my fast properly, which is something that I only learned when I started doing my second and my third fasts. So just in terms of the first one, it was difficult to get through it because I didn't really have the understanding of how I'm supposed to go through the fast or what I'm actually doing the fast for. I felt like I was just starting to fast for the sake of fasting, not knowing that the reason that people do this thing is to grow closer to God and to sacrifice their flesh in order to, praise and worship God. I feel like fasting is a form of worship because you are bringing yourself down to bring God higher. You are sacrificing your body and your flesh, your fleshly and your worldly desires of food to be able to get closer to God. And even in the Bible, like the verse that I just told you now in Matthew, you do that in secret and God will reward you in secret. But the thing is, I didn't involve God into my fast. I was just fasting. And I feel like that is the main point of this first story and this fast that I did in first year. I didn't involve God in the fast. And for me, I feel like that's why I didn't really get the most out of it like I probably should have. Yes, my connection with God did grow. I did pray more, especially at night. I felt the urge to pray more, but I didn't involve God like I should have. So then I decided to extend my fast because I was like, okay, wait, no ways. Like this first week, yes, it was hard. Obviously, towards the end of the fast, I was starting to get used to it a bit more. But the end of the first week came and I was like, yo, I'm not really feeling anything. And I know that God, one of my good friends at church told me this: God isn't a feeling, He is a person. God is someone who wants to get closer to you. God is someone who opens the door for you to get closer to them. He's not a feeling and He's not an emotion. And I was just tying my faith and my religion at the time to emotions. How was I feeling? Did I feel like I was getting closer to Him? Little did I know that the effort that I was taking to get closer to Him was something that brought me to start the fast again. So this time, I decided to approach it a little differently. So on the next Sunday, this was like a week afterwards, I was like, okay, surely I'm doing something a little not accurately. So then I decided to start implementing prayer into my fast. So when I would wake up, I would be like, I would first thank the Lord for my day, thank Him for the breath in my lungs, for the food, the roof over my head, the clothes on my back, just thank Him for everything. And then I would go into praying for the fast. I would ask him to give me energy throughout the day. I would ask him to stop my headaches. And then what happened? My headaches actually, okay, they didn't stop right away, but it started to like gradually lessen and get better. And then I was like, okay, maybe I should start praying more about my fast, because surely if I do the fast, if I'm doing the fast for a reason, I need to involve the person who I'm doing the fast for. And that, looking back at it, it only made sense to do that from the beginning, because why would I fast in the first place, you know? So for me, implementing and incorporating prayer into my fast was probably the best thing I could have ever done at that time, because during that period as well, I was applying for jobs. If you're young and you understand, well, probably everyone who's watching this understands that as a student finances is absolutely crazy, especially when you're in Cape Town and you don't know anyone there, you don't know anything about anyone or how to make money or anything like that. So at the end of my first year, I was like, yo, okay, I actually need to get a job. And at the place that I was staying, there was an opening for a receptionist. And during that time, this was my second week of fasting. And funny enough, I actually missed the deadline to apply to that job. But one of the, I was praying really hard, and I really felt my connection with God growing during that fast. And funny enough, one of my friends that I had made in the boarding house, in the residence that I was staying in, I told him, he actually told me to apply, but I swept it under the rug. And then time comes, like I see him, and then he tells me like, hey, did you apply for the job? And obviously I tell him like, nah. And I was like 4 or 5 days past the deadline, and he asked me that. I don't know why he would ask me that so long after. Okay, I actually understand why he'd ask me, but I did not apply for the job. And he told me like, hey, just try, maybe send your email through and it may reach the person that it's supposed to reach. So I was like, nah, this is probably not gonna happen. But when I went back to my room, this was after I broke my fast at around 12. I went back to my room, I think it was like a Wednesday or a Thursday, halfway through the week of my fast. I actually got an urge, I got an unction, sort of like the same one that I did to start this whole channel and to bring people closer to God. I got an urge and I got an unction to apply. And I was like, okay, I don't know why I'm getting this feeling. So I ignored it because I didn't know where the feeling was coming from. So I ignored it. I was like, nah, no one's gonna accept my application. Went on about my day, went to school, broke my fast and everything. Came back from my classes that I had in the afternoon. Went to go play sports. I was still playing soccer for my residents back then. Came back, and then this urge, it came again, and it came even harder this time. It was like, I couldn't ignore it. It was like God was annoying me. It was like, apply. Obviously, I didn't hear a voice saying that, but I felt it. And if you're a believer, you know when you feel the feeling of something that you're supposed to do, but you're pulling back from it because for some reason you just don't want to do it. So then I was like, yo, I'm tired of this feeling. It's annoying. I can't concentrate on what I'm supposed to do. So what did I do? I applied. And then sure enough, I prayed before. No, actually, I didn't even pray when I was applying. I didn't involve God into my application process. By that time, I was only involving God in my fasting. So I applied, and then 3 days later, they asked me to come in for an interview. Coincidence? I think absolutely not. And I feel like the reason that I got that application offer, and I got the offer to actually go up in front of the people that are hiring, to be completely honest, I think that was God. I actually don't think, I know that was God, because as I was getting closer to him, as I was becoming more vulnerable to God and his plan for me, looking back at it, I feel like that was the first step of me actually sacrificing something to God and him rewarding me for it. Just like it says in the verse that I was telling you, Matthew 6, verse 16 to 18, one of the last verses, it says, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you. And that is something that I'm trying to convey. That's the message that I'm trying to convey in this video. I know that it's taken me quite a while to get to this point, but it says in the word, that is a promise from God. And one thing about God is that what I'm noticing is that he does not go back on his promises. He literally promises in his word that he will reward you in secret. And the whole in secret thing is a completely different story for a different day. But God did reward me. He got me into the interview room. I don't know if I said application or interview, but I ended up getting an interview. Sorry if I butchered that and said application for some reason, but I ended up getting an interview. And I went into the interview room. I obviously asked people beforehand like what questions they're gonna ask, but they ended up asking completely different questions, and I honestly thought that I flopped the interview. But they came back to me and then they told me that I actually achieved the highest score out of the 7, or it was about 10, no, actually 10 to 12 people that applied. I achieved the highest score of the people who applied, and obviously I got the job. And that was the job that helped me get a different job, which was actually a much higher paying job in the same residence. And I'm just trying to convey this message that it was Jesus from the beginning. It was God from the very, very beginning. He gave me that feeling. He gave me that urge. And while I was fasting, while I was sacrificing and being vulnerable for the very, very first time, not seeing or not expecting any results, not even knowing that a verse like this existed, God came through and he rewarded me. Now, I'm not particularly saying that God is going to come through and reward you with a job or reward you with materials or reward you with finances. But one thing that he will do is set the path for a deeper and a more valuable connection with him. And looking back at it, that was actually the genesis of my relationship with God, actually taking him seriously, because that was the first time I actually sacrificed something of me for him. And looking back at it, that sacrifice is the thing that actually started to get the ball rolling, and me starting to take these feelings that I have, take these unctions, take this pull that I always get from God, actually starting to take it more seriously, because I'm realizing now that God works in really mysterious and really funny ways. But at the end of the day, you will know when God is calling you. You will know and you will feel when God is saying, come to me, when you need to pray, when you need to fast, when you need to worship, when you need to go to church. You will get that feeling. And sometimes it'll be so strong where God will actually start to annoy you. And the message that I'm actually trying to convey with this first proper story, first proper video of mine, is that sometimes you will have a feeling. And if you're a believer, I know you know what that feeling is. And I'm just asking you to trust that feeling, because sometimes it may not be a feeling. If you know and if you learn more about God, you'll be able to discern it. But there's certain things that you know deep down that God is calling you to do, and that God is constantly annoying you to do, like this YouTube channel, like my fasting, like me praying, like me committing and going to church, like me getting baptized. It's all the same feeling that I get, but I used to ignore it. And now I'm asking you, if you know and if you understand that it could be from God and that it's from God, please do not ignore it. Please go head on and go deep into it and try pray and try ask God, what feeling am I feeling that he's asking you so graciously to do? And I promise you, it may not be the same reward that I got. It's probably going to be something completely different, but you will grow deeper to him. And the fact that I grew so much deeper to him after that first fast that I did, it made me go and do 2-3 more fasts just like that, and I've been rewarded the exact same way. But I just wanted to speak about that one reward that God gave me, and just speak about the fact that, yeah, do not neglect fasting. Don't take it for granted. Don't take the fact that you are a believer and the fact that God sacrificed his life on the cross for you for granted, because, excuse me, in this world we are not meant to be accepted. We are not meant to be taken in, because even though God loved everyone the same, they didn't take him in. They nailed him to a cross because they felt like he was blaspheming. They felt like God wasn't the Messiah, and he told them that he was, and he loved everybody the same, yet they still persecuted him. So in this world, you are going to be persecuted. Your body is going to have to be a living sacrifice unto God, and the more that you do that, the deeper your connection with him will be. Now, granted, I'm very, very early in this relationship with God, but I just wanted to share that very first experience, very first encounter, you can say, that I had with him, and how that actually snowballed into a beautiful relationship 2 years down the line. And yeah, I wish I had fasted earlier. I wish I had gotten closer to God earlier. But I do hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you found something valuable from it. And I hope that I touched your soul if you watched to the end of this. And I pray that God continues to move in your life. And I pray that you open up your heart to him, because sometimes the door is always open. We just need to enter. So I pray that you enter. God bless.